What's going on, guys? Marcus here, back in the shop. And if you can't tell by the description of how I'm dressed with the old White Sox hat and the plaid shirt, I just got done seeing Straight Outta Compton last night. And what can I say, man? This movie had me amped. Been waiting for this movie, been anticipating for months now. The basic premises of this movie shows a realistic tone of what these guys went through from the start of their career to them being on top and then to the ultimate demise. So of course, as we all know, the group is formed by Eazy, Dr. Dre, Cube, MC Ren, and Yella. But the three main characters that they mainly focus on is Eazy, Dre, and Cube. Ice Cube, of course, played by his son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. There was parts of watching this movie where I was just like, yo, that's Cube right there, man. Nah, that's definitely him. With the snarl, the hair, the eyebrows gestures, it's incredible. These guys look just like they did back in the 80s. It's ridiculous. If you go watch one of their old videos like Straight Outta Compton, you swear it looks just like these guys. It looks incredibly flawless to me. And not just the members of NWA. Whoever plays Snoop had him down to a T with the walk, the whole gangster lean, his casual, I guess, demeanor on how chill and relaxed his tone is. Hey, what up, cuz? All that stuff was just down to a T. And the guy that played Pac, way better than Anthony Mackie back in Notorious. He looks just like him. You swear you're looking at Pac in the studio. He has a thick goatee, the nose ring, the bandana, the big teeth that Pac has, that big bright smile. It's crazy. You swear that's him in the studio. But pretty much this movie starts off by showing their struggle, the hustle that they were going through as teenagers trying to come up. It shows Eazy dope slanging back in the, in the 80s or whatever, back in Compton. Cube on the bus writing rhymes. He was still, I believe he was still in high school, so he still had these like fantasies and whatever, also being a successful rapper. Dr. Dre and Yella part of a group called the World Class Wrecking Crew. And they were DJing, but they weren't really feeling the group that they were in because it was mostly based off of pop and R&B and disco music, and that's not what they were into at that time. Hip-hop was coming out. Hip-hop branched out from the 70s. So of course, LA, California, other parts of the country, they are taking a notice of what hip-hop culture is like. So of course it's the new thing. But instead of coming up with just random corny raps or whatever that may be radio friendly, they come up with a different style. They want to be what they call reality rap at the time. As we all know, it's gangster rap, where it shows the real side of what they go through. I mean, these guys are clearly, they're not from like, the safe suburbs. They're from Compton, California, the projects, the hood. It's full of gangs, guns, drugs, police brutality, and just pretty much what they go through from day-to-day basis. So like you'll see in certain interviews when they say they're pretty much journalists or reporters just reporting the news on what they see in their neighborhoods. That's absolutely true, because in the movie you do see them getting harassed by the police. You see gangbangers on the street corners just mean mugging and stuff, doing their thing. Now throughout this review there may be some spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie already but you know NWA's history, then keep on watching the review. If you don't know the history and you haven't seen the movie but you are planning on watching it, don't watch this review, pause it, turn it off, wait till you see it, and then come back and watch the review. With that being said, one of my favorite scenes early in the movie is when they are on tour after the Straight Outta Compton album was released. Of course, they got all that hype, all that press, all that popularity. With all that comes groupies and whatnot, so there is a scene where they are in a hotel. I don't want to give it up, the whole thing. I just love the "Bye Felicia" reference that Cube drops. When you watch the movie, you know what I'm talking about. What I love about this movie is the reality of things. I felt like they definitely didn't hold back punches on certain aspects of what was going on at the time. Like the tensions between Eazy and the rest of the group. Eazy-E and Jerry Heller, there was a bunch of shady stuff going on behind closed doors. Eazy was getting most of the royalty checks, while the other guys were pretty much just getting what was left of it, like the crumbs. Eazy and Jerry are at restaurants eating steak, lobsters, and wine, while the rest of the guys are eating Fat Burger and McDonald's. Things like that. I've seen in documentaries and interviews between Cube and Dre talking about the past issues they had with Eazy-E. So I wasn't sure if they're going to show it all in there, but it is. I mean, that's something I appreciate about this movie is, I guess, how realistic and honest they were. Of course, I'm sure there are some things that happen in those times that they're not going to show in the movie because they have families and whatnot, and they just don't want to, I don't want to say bash their careers, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, they are co-producers of the movie, so they're not going to show everything. Whatever happened on tour stays on tour. Coming into this movie, I really thought it was just going to be focusing on NWA and their rise. I wasn't actually expecting to see everything that was surrounding throughout West Coast hip hop's history. Like, I wasn't expecting to see, the breakup between Cube and NWA right away. That's something that you kind of see maybe not early into the movie, but midway through the movie, because I really thought it was just gonna be focused on NWA's history, and then maybe towards the end, the actual breakup. But no, they actually showed that like pretty early. And from there, you start seeing where these guys go. You know, Cube ends up leaving Priority Records. If you've seen the old documentary Beef back in early 2000s, you can tell my age right there. There was a one scene where they were talking about how Cube walked into the record studio with bats with his homeboys, and they were pretty much smashing records because he wasn't getting his pay. And they showed that in the movie. They actually showed that. So I was kind of, certain things like that, I was actually waiting to see if they were actually gonna do it. And of course, we see Dre go his own way, you know, partnering up with Suge Knight and forming the record label Death Row Records, which had artists like Snoop and Pac. And it shows a little glimpse of what, you know, what working with them was like. My only issue with that is, I really wish they got into more details. It's not a bad issue because this movie is actually pretty long. It's like 2.5 hours. But just being a fan of these guys, I wanted to see more of them. I wanted to see more Snoop. I wanted to see more Pop, because you only seen them for like 1 or 2 scenes. As a fan, I was like, oh, what did they do next? Come on, are they gonna show this? Or are they gonna show that? This movie definitely takes a turn of things. There's so much energy and just so much fun in the beginning of the movie. It definitely takes a turn of twist of things. Like towards the end, it gets a little bit depressing because shit gets real. Again, we all know the history of NWA's breakup, you know, all the crazy, shady shit that was going on not only there, but also when Dre was with Suge. All the bullshit that was going on throughout Death Row Records and Suge Knight, specifically mainly because of Suge Knight. So it's not like, you know, everyone walked out happy. The only person that walked out with the most on this side was Cube. We see this guy form a whole other crew, the Lynch Mob, and there are tensions between the Lynch Mob and Ruthless Records at the time, you know, during the start of things. But later on, it starts to cool down. Cube is a successful solo artist. He starts branching out in movies like Friday and Boys in the Hood. But on the twist of things were just not looking good for Eazy, and for Dre for that matter. As fans back in those days, you think that, you know, Dre's living it up. He's got artists like Snoop and Pac and the whole Chronic album era on how big and successful that was. That's all good and well, but behind closed doors there were a lot of issues, mainly because of Suge Knight and just how crazy gangster he was at the time. So Dre didn't really feel welcomed, and he just didn't feel really secure and safe around his own record label. There was never that feeling like that when he was with Ruthless Records, because he was with his friends. None of them were real gangsters and like that. They weren't real thugs. They were all, you know, goofy and silly until they got on the mic and they wreaked havoc. But hanging out with these Death Row guys or Suge Knight's guys, it was kind of scary for him, I'm sure. I feel like this movie embraces all kinds of different emotions. You will laugh, you may even cry depending on what kind of movie watcher you are. It gets kind of emotional towards the end. I mean, with the demise of NWA and Eazy getting sick. Guys, overall, I really did have a good time watching this movie, but again, because of how emotional the movie gets, I didn't walk out as hype as I was walking in. I love the music. There were a couple times during the movie where I caught myself kind of like singing along with the rappers on screen, and my girl had to elbow me like, yo, shut the fuck up, like, you know, because I might be singing a little too loud. I was happy, but at the same time, I was a little down just because how it ended. I don't want to say it ended on a bad note, because it's actually what happened, you know, during those times. Overall, guys, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's a fun ride. Honestly, I kind of wish they ended on a better note, because coming into this movie, again, such a high positive attitude, but coming out, I was definitely just, I don't want to say depressed, but I was definitely like, wow, that's really sad. And I couldn't do the review right away because I definitely had to get myself back together. And I was just like, okay, let's do this. If you haven't watched the movie, go watch it. I promise you, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna love the acting. There are some suspenseful moments. What are some things that you didn't like about the movie? What are some things that you wanted to see? Me personally, I can't really say anything bad about the movie other than me being a fan. I just wanted to see some more stuff. I know the movie was like 2.5 hours long, but again, like I said earlier, I wanted to see more Pac, more Snoop, but I know the movie wasn't about them. It was just about the 3 main guys. So I gotta respect that. So I pretty much have to just like let that shit go. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video. Let me know what you guys think of the movie down below. If you haven't seen it, go check it out and let's talk about it. Till next time.